Imagine a token that falls, not 20%, not 50%, not even 90%, but 97.4% from its all-time high. Now let me ask you, if you were holding a token after a 97.4% collapse, would you still believe in the project, or would you consider the story over? What happens after a collapse like that? Does the story end, or could that be where a completely different story begins? This is the story I want to explore with Silencio. And before we talk about price, let me tell you why I'm personally interested in this project. I received my first Silencio tokens through an airdrop, and today, I still hold my Silencio tokens, and I'm currently staking them. So I'm following the project, while also watching what the market is doing with its token. Silencio is not simply another cryptocurrency. It is building a DePIN project, a decentralized physical infrastructure network. The basic idea is simple. People contribute real-world data through their devices. One of the original focuses was noise intelligence, but the vision is broader. Silencio is building toward a real-world data economy involving location, spatial intelligence, audio, environmental information, and potentially data useful for artificial intelligence and robotics. In simple terms, Silencio is trying to connect the physical world with the digital economy, and the token at the center of that ecosystem is the SLC token. The token is designed for utilities including rewards, staking, data access, premium features, and potentially governance. So let me ask you, if a project is building a real-world data network and its token has fallen more than 97%, which matters more, the project fundamentals or the price structure? For me, we need to watch both, because a good project does not automatically mean a good token price. And this is where the market tells a very different story. Silencio was listed in January 2025. The first monthly candlestick opened at 1.77 rupiah. That was also the low. Then buyers stepped in. Price exploded higher, all the way to 15.68 rupiah, the all-time high. But then, something changed. Sellers came in, and the candle eventually closed at only 2.89 rupiah. From 15.68 rupiah to the close, price had fallen approximately 81.6% from the high within that first monthly candlestick. Now, look at that candle. What do you see? A market controlled by buyers, or the first evidence that sellers were already willing to fight back? Because for me, that candle was telling us something important. Buyers had the ability to push price higher, but sellers had the ability to take control back, and the story continued. Silencio kept falling. Then, on the daily chart, price broke below 1.77 rupiah. On May 6, 2025, price was around 1.33 rupiah. The bearish trend was still strong. Sellers were still in control. But then, a bullish authority shift appeared. A strong bullish movement developed. For a moment, it looked like the market might be reversing. Maybe you would have thought, this is it, the bottom is in. But was it? The structure told a different story. That bullish movement was still a corrective movement. Inside the larger downtrend, the correction eventually reached 8.70 rupiah on September 21st, 2025, but it could not break the dominant bearish structure. And after that, the downtrend continued, lower low after lower low, until finally 0.41 rupiah. On July 20th, 2026, Silencio reached its lowest recorded level, from the all-time high of 15.68 rupiah to 0.41 rupiah. That's approximately a 97.4% decline, a devastating drawdown. Now let me ask you, if you saw this chart, would you call it dead? Would you walk away? Or would you start looking for signs that the market might finally be changing? Because here's the interesting part. The project was still building. The ecosystem was still developing. The network was still collecting data. The idea was still alive. But the token price had collapsed. This is something we often forget in crypto. The project and the market are not always telling the same story. A project can continue developing, while its token continues falling, and a token can begin recovering before the market fully recognizes the value of the underlying project. But now something is changing. From 0.41 rupiah, price began to move higher, and today, Silencio is around 0.99 rupiah. The drawdown from the all-time high has narrowed from approximately 97.4% to approximately 93.7%. And over the past 3 weeks, we have seen consecutive bullish candles on the daily chart. Now, this is where I become interested, because after a 97.4% decline, after lower low, after reaching the lowest recorded level, what we are seeing now could potentially be the beginning of a new bullish trend. But I am not here to predict. I am here to observe. And I want you to observe this with me, because the market still has to prove itself. If this bullish structure is valid, if buyers truly have the authority, then there is one important level I will be watching: 2.69 rupiah. This is the high of the last bearish origin I am following, established on February 25th, 2026. Remember this number, 2.69 rupiah. For me, it is not just another price target. It is a structural test. Can buyers reach it? And more importantly, what happens when they get there? If buyers can reclaim that level, the story begins to change. The market would no longer be simply recovering from 0.41 rupiah. It would be challenging the authority of the previous bearish structure. And if that structure is eventually invalidated, perhaps we're looking at the beginning of a much larger bullish development. But let's be realistic. The journey from 0.41 rupiah back to 15.68 rupiah is a very long journey. Recovering from a 97.4% decline doesn't happen in one move. It happens structure by structure, higher low by higher low, higher high by higher high, authority shift by authority shift. I received my Silencio tokens through an airdrop. I'm currently staking them. So naturally, I have an interest in seeing the project succeed. But interest is not proof. Staking is not proof. The project narrative is not proof. The only thing that can prove a bullish reversal is the market itself, through structure, through authority, through price action. So let me ask you, do you think 0.41 rupiah was the bottom? Or is the market simply creating another temporary correction before the next move down? And if buyers eventually reach 2.69 rupiah, do you think they can actually reclaim it? Tell me what you see, not what you hope for, not what you want to happen, but what does the structure tell you? Is 0.41 rupiah the bottom? I don't know. Is Silencio going back to its all-time high? I don't know, but I do know what I can observe. The market has stopped making new lows, at least for now. Price has begun to move higher, and a new bullish structure is beginning to develop. Now the market has to prove whether this is real. The first major question, can buyers reach 2.69 rupiah? And if they do, what happens next? Because perhaps the most interesting part of the Silencio story is not the 97.4% collapse. Perhaps it is what happens after the collapse. Maybe the long recovery is finally beginning. And if you want to follow how I read market structure, authority, and the evolution of price, subscribe to Bias Positive Digital Rise. And if you are following Silencio too, tell me in the comments, are you watching the recovery or are you waiting for the market to prove itself first? Because here, we don't try to predict the market. We observe it. We follow the authority. We question the structure, and we let the market tell us the story. This is Bias Positive Digital Rise. Positive mindset, precise trading, more certain profits.